Welcome back, guys, to another Cheeky Tuesday video, and this one is the long-awaited Q&A session. But before we start, obviously it's now been Christmas, so I hope you all had a fantastic, very Merry Christmas, and whatever you did, whether you were relaxing or partying, you all had a fantastic time. And believe it or not, we didn't have a dog here until they heard the camera turn on. And as soon as the camera turned on and they heard the noise, every single one of them has to be shot.
They like being on camera.
Yeah. Anyway, should we do a Q&A? Should we answer some people's questions? What do you think, Pops?
That shadow be grumbling.
Yeah.
Hey!
No.
Who are you shouting at? There's
Right.
nothing or nothing.
There's nothing there. No, you won't trigger Ribber off. Right. Let's get some Q&As done. Right. Lou has wrote all your questions down. Or we've wrote down questions that we think is going to be enough to fill this Cheeky Tuesday anyway. So, Lou, you're the question master.
So we've been asked, how do you arrange your crafting stroke work area in such a confined space?
With great difficulty. Is a very simple answer to that. With great difficulty. It is a tiny little box room. I think it was last week's video. Last Thursdays, I think I actually did a guided tour of a 6-foot square room. But it basically, if you haven't seen that, go and watch last week's video. I'll put a link in one of these top corners up that way, so you can watch it.
Eyes, then.
But basically, everything has a place and everything's in its place, and it's one of those that if I'm working on leather and then I need to do some jewellery, all the leather has to be packed away, put everything away, everything in its place, and then we have to get all the jewellery making stuff out to make the jewellery. If we then want to make pens, we have to put all that away to get everything out to make pens. The blacksmithing's done externally, and all the blacksmithing stuff is kept in a different part of the boat. So that's fine. And yeah, and that's basically it. But I will do, well, we are going to do a walkthrough video.
Yeah, we are.
Of the boat, but it'll be slightly different to probably what everybody else has done, in that there'll be a reality versus what you actually see kind of video. So it could be the video that everybody puts out where we want you to, you'll see what we want you to see. And then we'll record a second part, which is the reality of what the actual boat looks like as roving traders when you're carrying stock, materials, tools, 3 dogs, and everybody and anything else. So that will be an interesting one. So once we get sorted, we'll get that done for you. Right. So on to question number 2.
Question number 2. Were you both blacksmiths before living on a boat?
Yes, we were. Is the very simple answer to that. It's funny how we actually got into it, because we haven't always been blacksmiths.
No.
And yeah, I was self-employed in the building trade. I ran my own company, and it was through injury that I couldn't do that no more. So we quit and we did something else. And all the time I was doing that as a hobby, and metalworking as a hobby. And one of my hobbies was I was collecting and restoring vintage lawnmowers.
Yeah.
I say collecting because I was actually getting them and restoring them to sell them on.
Never did.
But I didn't really sell them on. But I was always fabricating parts for those and welding and this and that, the other. And then you decided you wanted a thingy.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, Christmas tree made out of horseshoes.
Yeah.
And she still doesn't have one.
No. After years, I've still not got one.
No. we made one, and someone saw it and said, "That's amazing, can I buy it?" So we sold it, and I made another one, and then we sold it, and yeah, we sold thousands of them.
Yeah, you even made them for me in January, and people even bought them in January.
Yeah. And that's it. So we then expanded the range, and we just went full time making horseshoe artwork. We was making sculptures and all sorts of stuff, really. We did other blacksmithing projects as well. But yeah, that was our job. That was our livelihood, and we would go and trade on markets and craft fairs and online and things like that, until, you know, things happened in life, and COVID happened, and the business struggled as everybody else did, and yeah, we decided life's too short, and we came on Lady Brian, and yeah, we just did all the other stuff as well. So that's what we was doing. I was doing leather work as a hobby, because in the blacksmithing I was actually forging knives and axes and things like that, and with the leather work I was making the sheaths to go with them. So yeah, the leather work went kind of hand in hand with that. So yeah, but that's how we started out.
Question 3.
Yeah.
How many kids and grandkids do you have?
Well,
I have one son, and Gareth has 4 children.
2 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah, and we're about to be grandparents come the end of February, beginning of March. My son and his fiancée are due to have the first little boy.
Yeah. So between us, 5 children and 1 grandchild on the way. Is the answer to that?
Yeah. The next question is, what is your favourite canal and why?
Ooh. No. I think.
I like the Llangollen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I do. I mean, we haven't travelled every canal.
No, we haven't done every canal yet.
So I can only speak off the canals that we've actually cruised on.
Yeah, but then it's hard because you do the canals, and you'll find places on certain canals that you like, and places on certain canals that you dislike.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one, really. I mean, the Llangollen's probably my favourite for the whole length of it, because it is just beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because you can pick parts out of each individual canal that you can say, oh, I really like here, I really like there.
Yeah, I mean, the Leeds Liverpool around Skipton is absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. But there are parts of the Leeds Liverpool Canal where it's industrial and built up, and it's not really that nice. I prefer being in the countryside and being and the rural side of it all.
I do, for the dogs, because it means the dogs can get off and have a run, and
yeah,
River doesn't cope very well in big cities and lots of bustling people, does she?
No, she doesn't cope very well with that.
But
then I don't really cope well with that either, because generally when we're in a built-up area, we're trading, and it's stressful, and yeah, it's. Some people like it, and we have been in Birmingham, and I do like Birmingham.
I like Birmingham.
Birmingham's not too bad.
But you're not slap bang in the middle of Birmingham, like in Liverpool.
You're right in the centre.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and
the
Leicester.
way into Liverpool's nice.
Yeah.
The Liverpool link is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Llangollen has got to be, I think the Llangollen, because it's beautiful, it's rural more or less from start to finish. Yeah. And I would say the Llangollen has got to be the friendliest canal I've been on up to now. But in summertime.
Yeah, we was always told though, wasn't we, not to go on it in summer because it's mad.
Yeah, and it's not. So everybody says don't go on it, all the hire boaters are out, it's crazy, it's mad busy. Well, as traders,
that's what we
want. We want it mad busy, and we want the holiday makers and things like that to make our money. But what I found is the holiday makers are out to have a good time because they're on holiday, so it's a much lighter atmosphere, and all right, you are going to get the hire boaters that go a bit too fast. But then the private boaters we found were worse for that than the holiday boaters. And certainly it was like flicking a light switch that soon as the summer holidays were over, it was just a wash with private boaters, shore boaters, everybody racing, everybody getting frustrated because they were queuing at locks. I mean, we went with Heidi trading on there last year, and all the way up, I think every lock we got to, we didn't have to queue.
No.
I don't think we queued at a lot. When we got there, we were the only 2 boats there. But then coming back was a different story, and we had boats. I was towing the canoe, and we had one boat that was hitting the canoe and pushing the canoe out the way because it was in that much of a rush to get past us, because they're in that much of a rush and shouting abuse and everything else.
He did the same to Heidi as well.
Yeah, he did the same to Heidi, and I was in front of Heidi. Heidi couldn't go anywhere because I was there, and I had a boat in front of me. So, yeah. And then when we got to a lift bridge, they went through the lift bridge. We let them past, and they got through. And when we got to the lift bridge, they went through the lift bridge and dropped the lift bridge down in front of us when they could see we was there. You know, so yeah, the better time we found on the Llangollen is through summertime. It's a much nicer atmosphere. So, yeah, and it's the nicest, I think, up to now.
Yeah.
Up to now. But like I said, there's a lot of canals.
But then I like the River Soar as well.
River Soar was beautiful, picturesque. Not a lot of places to moor, but the ones that were was really beautiful.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I think every canal has its nice spots and its bad spots. Even the Llangollen. But the Llangollen has got to be where the bulk of it is nice.
Right, question 5. How did we meet?
How did we meet? Tell them, Lou, how did we meet?
We actually met on a dating site. Didn't we?
Yep. We was on a dating website, and we met and chatted online for a bit, and then went out, met up and went for a couple of coffees, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was it. Rest is history. But yeah, it was on a dating website.
Question 6. Why is the boat called Lady Brian?
Why is the boat called Lady Brian? Well, first of all, she was already called that when we got her, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
And we actually thought about changing Lady Brian's name to Lady B.
Lady B.
Yeah, that was Lou's idea. Change it to Lady B. But because of the nature of what we were doing, trading and trying to build a business, we figured that Lady Brian was a bit unique.
Yeah, you'll never get another
one. I don't
one
think
called
there'll be
Lady
another
Brian.
one called Lady Brian. So we decided to keep the name because it becomes a talking point. So
because everybody asks the question, why is it called Lady Brian?
We've heard 2 stories. One of them I prefer, one of them I'm not really that bothered about. So there was the governess to Henry VIII's children, and that was Lady Brian, or Lady Brian, and it was spelt with a Y, not an I. So, you know, the boat could be named after her, and that's the one we like, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of the story, and I don't know how true this is, but the previous owners, or some previous owners beforehand, had a cat, and the cat was called Brian, until it went for a visit to the vets, and they found out that Brian wasn't a Brian, it was a Lady Brian. So they changed the name to Lady Brian. So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's mad, isn't it? Because this is the second, if that's the true version, it's named after a cat. This is the second boat we've had that's been named after a cat.
Yeah.
Because our previous boat was named after a cat.
Yeah, it was. Our previous boat was named after a cat.
Our previous boat was called Paddy Pifkin.
Yeah.
After a cat.
After a cat. And we decided we can't have a boat called Paddy Pifkin, so we renamed her Mary's Rose.
Yes, we did.
I mean, I don't know why we just didn't go all out and call it Titanic, you know what I mean? But she still floats to this day,
She does.
All the thing about renaming and it being bad luck, I don't think there's anything in that myself. Are we going to more?
Yes, question 7.
Okay, question 7.
Do the dogs cope in cold weather as they all look different ages?
Yes.
The dogs love the cold weather, especially Shadow, the German Shepherd. If it's really cold, icy or snowing outside, he goes out and goes mental. He gets the zoomies, and he's, honest to God, if he runs into you, he'll knock you for 6. But yeah, all 3 of them love the cold weather. Now Poppy, they are different ages, so Poppy's just turned 6 in October. Shadow was 2 in May, and River will be 2 in February coming. So yeah, they're all slightly different ages, but yeah, they all love the cold weather. Yeah. The working dogs, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all working dog breeds. They're all bred to be working outside, so they prefer to be outside than inside. And every one of them loves it outside, don't they?
Yeah, Poppy's a bit more, because Mummy's made her soft. Poppy likes to be wrapped up warm and cuddled up on the sofa in front of the fire.
But if Dad takes her out and we start working, and she's retrieving, then she will work all day long. She really doesn't care. Yeah, but everyone's an outdoor working dog, so this life is perfect for them because we're in the countryside generally all the time. So they're outside. Although we live in a little steel box, we're generally in the countryside a lot of the time.
They struggled last year through the summer, didn't they?
This year.
This year. This year through the summer when we had the heat waves.
Yeah.
It was 40 odd degrees inside this boat.
Well, it was 40 outside. It was slightly cooler inside. But I mean, everybody and everything was struggling.
We ended up finding a tree and mooring under a tree, didn't we? Sitting out under a tree, and I just get scooping buckets of water out of the canal and throwing it over them to cool them down.
We have cool coats for them, which is it's a special coat that has absorbent material in, so you put that on them and throw cold water on them, and that will keep them cool for hours before you just need to throw water on it again.
The police actually used them on the police dogs.
Yes. And they came highly recommended from people in the police force to us, and we've used them, and it really does work. It keeps them cool.
Yeah. Hopefully
we're not going to have too many more 40-degree days, but do you know what?
Somebody now will be on the other side of that camera shouting, yeah, we will, we want it 40 degrees.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, this summer was great because not having to worry about whether it was going to rain tomorrow or anything like that. The great weather just meant everywhere we went we could trade and everybody was out. It was fantastic for working and trading. Just not fantastic when it's 40 degrees and we have to get the forge out and light it, and I've got 1200 degree forge and I'm blacksmithing in 40 degree heat.
Yeah.
That's not the best. The dogs cope better than we do.
Yeah, but we were soft, wasn't we? Because we found a pub and we took them to the pub one day, didn't we?
It was the Boat Inn in Stoke Bruin.
Yes.
Yeah, and the back room had an air conditioning.
And we sat underneath the air conditioning.
And the dog friendly.
The dogs while we had tea.
The dog friendly, so we all went and sat under air conditioning. So they get spoiled, but yeah, they love the cold. They prefer the cold and the cool more than the warmth.
That's it, no more questions.
Is that our questions for now?
Yeah.
Right, that's our questions for now. If you've got questions about anything that we've just brought up, or anything that you want to ask that we haven't already answered.
You just want to be nosy and find out something.
Yeah.
Just ask, put it in the comments down below and we'll answer it in another Q&A.
Yeah, we'll do another one in a few weeks' time, so just drop some comments down below, we'll get back to them. But that will be a couple of weeks' time. So next Tuesday is going to be our first Cheeky Tuesday of 2003.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it will be. I think, yeah.
I lose track on days and days.
Yeah, New Year's Day is going to be Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, it's next Tuesday will be next year.
Yeah.
Cool. Just want to take this opportunity very quickly because we're trying to keep this video as short as we can. But just to thank everybody that's ordered from us and supported us through this year, because every single one of you has been fantastic, and if it's not for you guys who are ordering from us and supporting us by watching these videos, commenting, clicking, subscribing, following us on our other social media like Facebook, Instagram, all our patrons, things like that, it's you guys that keep us going. It's your guys that mean that we can live this life and we can keep functioning, we can keep our business going. So yeah, big thank you to every single one of you. Remember, our January sale is on. It started before Christmas, it's on now. I'll put a link and the discount code for the January sale in the description box down below, so get yourselves a nice January bargain on that.
Yeah. And if you fancy, if you're bored and you want to just nip over onto Facebook and watch a live, obviously it's not live now, but just before Christmas Gareth did a live on turning pens.
Yeah.
So if you fancy just nipping over to Facebook and watching that because you want something to do and you're bored, go and watch that.
Yep. And I will have some more live vlogs coming from the workshop with some things that you've never seen us make before because we've never made them before, and some things that we'll be making that you've never seen before because we just haven't shown it. So lots of exciting things coming up everywhere. But for now, we're going to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your questions. It's been great answering them, and it's been great having a chat with you. You take care of yourselves, have a fantastic new year, and we'll see you all next year.
Bye.